Okay, this is another TV I picked up from the recycling centre. Some people throw them away. I try and save them from the landfill. Hiya. Just for the next few minutes, we'll have a look at what is currently the biggest reason why TVs are thrown away. And when I say thrown away, they're either thrown in the shed, thrown in the garage, or more than likely thrown in a recycling centre, and then the customer will go out and buy a new TV. And they haven't really an idea why their TV has gone faulty. It's down to the screen getting darker and darker. And what they tend to do is try and correct it in the menu by going to the brightness, by going to the contrast, by going to the colour, trying to adjust the backlights. And unfortunately, none of that will help it whatsoever. And the reason I know it's such a major problem is because, well, A, it's what I do for a living. I repair TVs. This has been one of the biggest complaints, the biggest faults over the last 5 years, and it's ongoing. And also the amount of time I've been to a recycling centre, picked up a TV to use for spare parts, or maybe something to use on this channel so we can repair it. And that's exactly what I've done with this TV. This is not terribly old, but let's say it's 4 years old. It's under the brand of Luxor. There's technically no such thing as Luxor. It's owned and manufactured by Vestel, which is in Turkey, and they brand it different things. It could quite easily say Bush, Toshiba, Polaroid. Several different brands are used by Vestel, and on this particular occasion it's a Luxor. But apart from that, all the parts inside and the screen could be used in several different brands. The type of brands you find, I suppose, in the supermarkets, maybe even the cheaper end dealers, but normally hi-fi shops and high-end television shops like Richer Sounds and John Lewis won't stock this sort of thing because they like to be able to give a 5-year warranty. And these TVs tend to fail before 5 years. You tend to notice from about year 2 to year 3 that something's not quite right with the picture. It's getting darker and it's getting darker. And you don't quite notice it until one day you possibly watch a film downstairs and then go to bed and on your upstairs television watch part 2 of the film. And you suddenly notice that your bedroom TV has a much brighter picture and things look different to the film you were looking at downstairs. Apart from that, because it's such a gradual problem, nobody really notices it. But I'm going to switch the lights off. We're going to switch on this Luxor TV. We're going to show you the problem, and we've got the parts to fix it. So we will fix this. We'll make it a good TV within the next hour or so. So, switching it on over here. The standby light starts to flash, which means it's going into standby mode. I will then grab a remote control. Again, this is not a Luxor remote control. This is actually a Toshiba remote control, but it will work it. And we'll switch on the television, and then we will notice something pretty quick. In fact, you may have noticed it already. So the backlights have come on, and there's your picture. Now, I've got the door open at the moment in the workshop because it's a lovely day, but I'm going to press the menu button and I'm going to shut the door. Now, this camera will amplify the problem more than usual, and you can probably see on the menu on the left-hand side that this is suffering from a very dark picture. Some people call it the blue tint of death. Some people call it the bluey-purple tint of death. It's not really a death thing, and let me switch the lights back on. But making as many adjustments as you want to on your remote control for this will do absolutely nothing, because it's not a fault with the picture. The picture is absolutely fine. The picture is as perfect as it can be on this screen. It's what's behind the screen that's causing the problems. And behind the screens are a load of LED lights, some LED strips. When these LED strips are made, they're made blue. But after time, unfortunately, they go back to being blue. Now, say they made blue, they're then sprayed with a little phosphorus coating, which makes them look bright white. But after time, this coating just burns away and they go back to being their natural blue color. They tend to burn away, especially if you have your backlight set far too high, but not many people know how to change the backlights. Once again, I'll just go to the menu on this and we'll just check how this picture is set. Well, that's been set at natural and everything else on that looks absolutely fine. The backlight is at 90, which is a little bit high, but that wouldn't have contributed to it. You can turn it down, but it's far too late now. And adjusting the color there will make absolutely no difference. So what I'm going to do, we're going to strip this TV down. We're going to take the back of it, remove some things from the back of the screen. Then we're going to do the delicate job of removing the screen. And hang on while I switch on some lights. Then I'm going to remove the screen. I'm going to remove the diffuser sheets which are behind the screen. Then we're going to have a look at the LED bulbs themselves. Yes, I'm so old-fashioned, I still call them bulbs, and technically they are. And then we'll switch the TV back on and we'll have a look at how many of what is supposed to be bright white backlights, and I'm guessing there's around 50 to 60 individual LEDs. I wonder how many have turned blue. Maybe all of them. So to enable me to get to the backlights, I've just got to take a few brackets and a few wires and cables off here. Then I can disconnect the screen, which is connected with these two LDVS cables here. We can turn the TV back round again, and then we can lift off the front bezel, lift off the screen, lift off the diffusers, and then we'll have a look at the backlights. Sounds complicated, but it's not really. The other reason I wanted to make this video is we've had over 1,500 new subscribers in the last 5 days, which is absolutely incredible. So welcome to all the new people to the TV repair community. Hopefully we can educate, entertain and have a bit of fun together. And I thought it'd be a good idea for those people that haven't seen some of the earlier videos and have just joined us of late to watch kind of a repair from, well, from the early days. So we're going back to basics here. Just before we start disassembly process from the other side of the TV, there's something I want to show you which is very important, especially if you're going to be doing this and taking on your TV repair for the backlights. Because you may find it very difficult finding a set of backlights just by typing in the model number of your TV that's on the back of your TV set. The best way to do it is look for the white label that's on the back of the screen itself when you take the back of the TV. And if you type this into any place that sells backlights, including eBay, but if you don't mind waiting a couple of weeks and you want a bargain, they're much cheaper at AliExpress. But that is the full number you will need to type in, and that will get you a replacement set for your unit. And the other thing I need to mention is, please remember that the screen is a very gentle, brittle piece of plastic glass. Even though it won't splinter, and it's very unlikely that if you do crack it, it will cut your finger, you still have to handle the screen with care. It's quite flexible, but very brittle at the same time, and terribly fragile. So we've got the back off, and now we're left with the front of the TV that we know. And we have this little bezel here. Now remember, the bezel is just in front of the screen, again, which is very fragile. You will notice there are lots of clips, and one by one you just unhook the clip. Now I can do it with my finger because I've done it before, but the best thing to do is to always have a good look at the clips, and you will notice that they just start to lift up. But never give too much pressure. So the front is always quite easy to lift up. In fact, that's the front bit completely done. Just lifts off like that. A little bit more complicated, but again, just clips that you can lift off with your fingernail and pull them out. and you'll start to see the front bezel come away. Go around them all, take the front bezel off, be as slow as you want to be as gentle as you can. Front bezel off. Now obviously I've made that look a lot easier than it is because I do it for a living, but again, if you're just gentle, have a look where the clips are, it will all come off beautifully for you. And now to the big part, to the money shot. This is taking the screen out. The screen is connected through some flex cables. You can either tape those back to the screen, some people do, but just test that the screen is loose and ready to come off. Don't lift it too far. Again, remember, it's fragile and it's brittle. I'm lifting up one side, I'm lifting up the other side, I'm getting my hands behind it, so then I'm in full control of the screen, and I am just going to lift it up and put it up there. And then we're left with one more bezel, the bezel which is hiding the diffuser sheets. So I'm going to take this bezel off, remove the diffuser sheets, we should be okay. So the next bezel is off, almost. One more clip, yes. And again, I can stick that up here. And these are pretty flexible. You've got 2, 3, sometimes 4 diffuser sheets. But best to keep them as one, so you don't get them mixed up and you put them back on in the right order. So just lift them up. And there you see the array of backlights. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 strips of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're going to see how many of these have turned blue. Then we're going to take every single strip out and we're going to replace it. In fact, let's take out, because we are going to put some new ones in. Let's take out the little back reflector sheet. These are the screen supports, normally just a twist and pull, and you've got those. Sometimes you can just pull these out, but you may notice we've got some plastic rivets here, so it's best to go and get a very small pair of pliers and just tweeze those out. Sometimes you may have to take some boards off to get to them, but not all the time. One more, and it's hidden under the T-con board, which is just there. Easy to remove, easy to put back, and we'll remove and put them back once the new backlights are fitted. But I wanted to show you the backlights first, and let's plug them in and see how many of these have turned blue. I think you'll be surprised. Now we can lift off the reflector sheet. These strips are just lightly glued down, so we'll start to prise them off. You just have to be careful when it comes to the connection side around here. You don't want to yank off the plug and socket mechanism, otherwise it means extra soldering will need to be done, and you don't want that. So TV is plugged back in. I'm being very gentle here, and I'm just going to switch the TV on using its little toggle switch on the main board, and so those backlights will start to come on very soon. And there they are. And for the people that said every single one of them would be blue, not absolutely. You can't tell sometimes with the camera angles, but that one and that one and that one and that one. So, you know, out of 50 backlights, probably got 4 or 5 that are okay for now. But yes, the majority of those has turned blue. So let's get them out, get some new ones in. The most important thing you do after you've tested the backlights to see that they're blue is disconnect the backlights from the power supply, because even though you've switched off and unplugged, there still could be voltage held in a capacitor that's connected to the backlights. So you want to isolate the supply completely from these strips, which we've now done. The second thing you want to do is double check that the strips you've got are exactly the ones you want, because mistakes can be made, and not always by you. You'll notice at the bottom of each LED strip there is a letter. We've got 2 A's on the right hand side, 2 B's in the middle, and 2 A's on the left hand side. So let's just make sure. They may not look identical, but as long as the backlights match up, that's going to be fine. So it looks like we've got the right set here. Let's just put the new ones to one side, and let's just get the old ones out. I just gently pry them with a screwdriver, gently pull them back. Remember to be very gentle when you get down to the final centimetre. And I tend to, and I'll just bring the camera down here so you can see, put my thumb over the plug and socket and lift it up so the final bit of glue is out and it's not snapped it off, and I can pull that out. So that's the first A ready to be replaced. You might as well replace them one at a time. Sometimes they come with some double-sided sticky tape at the back, but these don't. I will put some tape on separately later, but let's get the rest in. There's another A here. That's the final strip gone in. As I say, if yours didn't come with any double-sided sticky tape, you can put a bit of tape on just to hold them in. But actually the reflector sheet, which is clipped down, will do a good enough job. Plus there's some glue residue on there. So don't panic if you haven't got any double-sided tape. The next thing you need to do is plug the backlights back into the power supply. Switching back on at the mains, and then we'll give it a little switch because it will go into the standby mode. So we'll switch with a little toggle switch on the main board and see if once were blue are now a little bit more white. And they are. Always look a little blue on camera, but nice and white, much brighter. That picture is going to be much better. And now, it's just a case of reassembling. And what better way to test a TV once you've just changed the backlights is to put it on the burn-in mode test, which flashes through the 4 colours, which is red, green, blue, and of course white. And then it's on the white that you can test if you've got any blue patches. And I haven't, so it's all sorted and it's looking good.